You are listening to the Knightline Sports Network, brought to you by Travis Dever and the Dever team, 386-690-1636.
Knightline is brought to you by the Dever team, your source for New Smyrna Beach real estate and everything else New Smyrna Beach. Go to www.thedeverteam.com and call UCF alumni Travis Dever for all your New Smyrna Beach needs. 386-690-1636. That's 386-690-1636.
Welcome to UCF Knightline, your source for UCF sports and former player information.
Hello, Night Nation. This is Andrew Phegley coming to you from the 1148 studios, and this is Knightline 245 from the award-winning Knightline Sports Network. Joining me, as always,
Roger Phipps, and on this week's show, bowl game questions, KZ questions answered, recruiting is heating up, Boise's in our DMs, and Roger's 5-alarm hot take.
Alrighty. Well, this one's going to be a little bit different, obviously, because we don't really have any clips. We don't have any Ask Knightline questions. I was busy today. I forgot to put that out onto Twitter. So we're going to wing it this show, which is fine. We're just going to talk a little bit more. We're not going to have some of our normal segments. We got no football really to talk about. We got no basketball to talk about. So we don't have Kyle. We don't have Ben. It's just going to be me and Roger just sitting here talking all of this out. There's a lot of stuff we can talk about. First of all, we're going to talk about KZ, obviously. We're going to talk about the bowl situation. KZ, by the way, if you're listening to this Monday, which you probably are because I'm not putting it out until Monday, so it is probably Monday that you're listening to this. And tomorrow night on Knightline at Night, our good friend KZ will be joining us. So
super excited about that.
Yeah, it's cool. It'll be cool. It's not going to be super long with him. We got him for a limited amount of time because he's busy. He's doing all kinds of stuff, getting ready, working out and stuff like that. Still going at it really hard. He's got to get a lot better even still before he gets to the point of now playing for FSU, which is cool as far as I'm concerned.
Better than UF and better than UM.
Yeah. So
if he would have went to UF, I'd have been really upset.
Yeah.
So I'm good with FSU.
Yeah. I mean, I would rather he went there than the other places that he had talked about. But the one consistent thing that I heard the entire time was FSU. I talked to Jeff Lebby at Ole Miss. I knew that wasn't happening. So FSU was this thing that was in the corner the entire time. It was one of the very first things that I ever heard. I actually heard Florida at first, and then you know how things when somebody tells you something and it's gone through 2 or 3 people, and it changes.
Telephone game.
Yeah, like the telephone game, exactly. So I had heard Florida at first, but it was really Florida State. So. I'm very happy for him. I can't wait to talk to him on Tuesday night on Knightline at Night. I'm going to say that again. 9 o'clock on WDBO. If you haven't listened, you should listen. If you can't hear it, that night, you'll be able to hear it the next day. But it's a little bit better when it's live, I think. It's fun to do live radio. It's a little different than this, because we're not really under any time constraint here, so we just kind of get to do what we want to do. That's a little bit more structured. It's a little quicker because we have to get in before those horribly long commercial breaks that we have to take on that show, which is fine. It is what it is. We pay the bills, so we can have our time on there because radio time is expensive. Anyway, you can listen on the air on the website, wdbo.com. And you can listen on their app. So really, anywhere in the United States, even anywhere in the world, you could listen to that show live if you really wanted to. And I would suggest listening this Tuesday night because KZ's going to be on there again.
And the other thing, too, folks, is remember, on that show, if you are able to listen live, you can interact with us. So unlike here where we're recording things, you can actually call in and talk to us on the show.
Yeah, people don't like to call, and I don't really understand why. But whatever. It is what it is. I'm not mad. I'm not upset. Because imagine if we took a ton of calls during that show. That show would be really short.
Yeah, really quick.
We would never be able to get in half the stuff we wanted to. So it's fine. But we do the only all UCF call-in show because certain other people will not take callers, and I decided, hey, I'm going to take callers. So call in. We'd love to talk to you. We will make time for you. I give the number out all the freaking time on that show. It plays every time we come back from a break. I say it probably 20 times during that show. So call. Although you're not going to be able to call when I have KZ on because we don't have time for that. We only have him for a limited amount of time, like I said, and I just don't. I don't want that to interfere with what we're going to talk about. So just want to get that. I just want to talk to him. I remember, having him on here on Knightline. Well, I think one of the very first player things that I even did was KZ, and I'll put that up in the next week or so again, so you can hear me talking to him. When he first signed his national letter of intent to come here, he'd never stepped foot except for a visit on UCF's campus yet. So it was when I used to talk to recruits. I don't really do that anymore.
Yeah, a couple of people
after National Signing Day, I will. I might do it again after National Signing Day coming up. I kind of miss doing that. So as long as they're signed, but before they get to UCF, I will talk to some people. I'm going to try to do that this year. And I'm going to try to do a few more interviews because we kind of got away from that, and I kind of want to get back into doing that. It's, just probably what we need to do. So anyway.
No more Victor Beaches.
Was that? I don't even.
That was the guy.
That was the guy.
That was the guy.
Well, it had nothing to do with me. I just want you all to know that. That's so funny that it got blamed on me. The kid just flaked. He flaked. And you heard him on the show if you listened back then. You listened, so you knew.
Did.
You knew that he was 100%.
I remember the name.
He was 100%.
It was 110%.
In fact, that's what he said.
Yeah, he was 110%.
I even asked him. I asked him specifically. And I've always done that. You can listen back to the Daryl Mack one. When I talked to Otis Anderson, when I talked to Adrian Killens, I ask all of them. And even Mackenzie, I think I'm like, you're 100%, right? You're 100%. Yeah, and they say, oh yeah, 110%. And Mr. Beach messed it all up.
He got pancaked.
Yeah. Well, I think he's been getting pancaked the entire freaking time of his career. I don't think he did very good wherever he went.
No, he didn't end up starting.
I think he went like 2 or 3 different places too, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Well, that's all right. We're past that now.
There's been a couple people that I've talked to that have moved on and gone to 2 or 3 different places and never really did a lot. But, oh well. It is what it is. It happens. So, KZ. I don't know what more we can really say about it except he's going to FSU. I think I already said that I'm okay with it. I hope that they fix their offensive line a bit.
That's my concern.
Mike Norvell really knows about KZ.
Yeah, he got beat a few times by him.
He's 0-3 against KZ. So it doesn't shock me that a guy like that used to coach in the American with Memphis, Mike Norvell, that now coaches at FSU, would be the first guy to be like, hey, Mackenzie, I'll take you. No problem. I just don't. I thought, though, that Casey said at one point he wanted to go someplace that he could kind of step in and win at, and I don't see that happening at FSU.
No, they're a little bit of a mess right now. As you mentioned, the offensive line itself is not doing really, really well. They don't really have, the good news is they don't really have an entrenched starter. They had the sophomore Travis who played this last game and played exceptionally well, and they actually won. So that would be the only concern there. But yeah, I'm with you on that. He mentioned culture, he mentioned a bunch of other things, and the one thing that FSU hasn't had has been a solid culture or an offensive line, and that really concerns me for him. I mean, he's
supposedly the offensive line played really good the other day. I did not see the game. I don't even know who they played.
They played better.
Who did they play?
I don't even remember, to be honest.
Like some high school team or something?
No. It was like an ACC team or something like that. So
Wake Forest?
Yeah, high school team.
Exactly.
But at the end of the day, that's the biggest thing, because he's got NFL aspirations, and the whole point of this is to give him a shot to, one, play again at the collegiate level, and two, to give him a showcase to be able to be, an NFL draft pick. Now, what does he have to do there to shine at FSU? I mean, one, the brand obviously was very strong. They've had their troubles since Jimbo Fisher left, and a successive couple of coaches there that haven't done so well. And this season, they haven't done so well either. They had a lot of issues, a lot of warts. So the question is what does he have to do there? Obviously, he has to show the numbers. He has to show that he's mobile, right? What better place to show that you're mobile if your offensive line has some issues? But, to me, as a KZ fan, I have some concerns around going to a place like FSU that has those issues on the O-line, because the one thing I want him to do is, one, showcase that he can still play at a high level. Two, give him that shot at the NFL, because he would have had a shot, I believe, had he not been injured that fateful night.
Of course.
And I want him to win. And, I don't know what that means at FSU right now. Does that mean 6-6 is a great season? Does that mean he brings them to an 8-4 season? And that's enough for him to get a shot?
I think he's only got one
season
season left. I think he's only got one season. And, I mean, I don't think that he would go anywhere where he wasn't planning on at least getting a shot to start, because that would make no sense. So I don't know if he's been told that he has a start. You've got the starting job. Probably not. I don't know of any coaches that really will tell a player that you are going to be the starter before they even compete in camp.
Well, they haven't had really a good starter there up until the flashes that Travis showed the other night. So up until that point, they've had Justin Blackmon, who just did not play well. I mean, the offensive line obviously didn't help either. But, I feel like maybe he feels like he has a good shot there with a branded, storied, quote-unquote storied program that has done well in the past. I don't know how this is going to fare for his chances at the NFL, and that's the ultimate goal, because I'm not sure that they can win right away.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. I mean, we will definitely see. That's what I like to say when we're speculating about things. We'll see, because I'm never wrong when I say we'll see, because we'll always see.
We'll always see what will happen.
Yeah. So,
How does this make you feel about KZ? Because I'll be honest with you. So I saw the news, right? Just like a lot of other people did, that he actually chose FSU. There was a lot of smoke there. We all were kind of expecting a Florida school. They had the whole Miami, and D'Eriq King was talking to him. That had come out. But then D'Eriq King pretty much said that he was going to stay as opposed to going to the NFL. So we all kind of knew that Miami was out. Going to FSU.
It was FSU from the beginning, though. I really don't think he even talked to many other teams. It was FSU from the beginning.
Well, either way, I mean, no matter what happened,
I think he knew exactly where he was going to go. Obviously, this happened very fast. So, I mean,
and his family's a consideration too, because they want to stay within Florida.
Yeah.
They moved from Hawaii. His mom moved from Hawaii. His brother moved from Hawaii to be here. So
they're all back in Hawaii now, by the way. So we're gonna be talking to KZ from the land of Hawaii, the land of Ohana.
Do you think we can get him to send us some spam?
Yeah, you can easily go buy spam. I'm sure there's something else that
they have spam burgers at McDonald's, so they do spam a little bit differently over there. It's not like something you could buy here at the store.
It's the same spam.
Yeah, but the way they cook it and prepare it, they
you
don't do that over
can cook it like
here.
that in your kitchen.
I guess. I'm looking for the easy way out.
Put some freaking pineapple on it, and you're good.
There we go.
They're spam sandwich. Yeah. Anyway, Roger, Lord have mercy. All right. I can't remember what I was saying now because I was so rudely interrupted.
Hey. You were talking about them being in Hawaii, the entire family being back in Hawaii.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we're going to be talking to him from there. I know I said that. I don't know where I was going after that, but that's all right. It's all good. Yeah, I feel I'm a little, I don't know how to explain it. I do have I'm kind of a little upset about this in a way today when I saw it. And I knew it was coming, obviously. I knew he was going someplace. I figured that I had heard FSU the entire time. But when I saw him in that picture on his Instagram with him in the FSU gear, the picture that they made of him, actually a UCF picture, but they, how they switched.
Yeah, the logos and whatnot.
It's pretty good photoshopping that these teams do when they do that. It kind of made me a little sad in a way because, I love this kid. I love his family. It's bittersweet for sure. And I, of course, want the best for him, obviously, but it still took a little, it was a little gut punch.
It makes it real.
Yeah,
I mean, up until this point, we
real.
all knew we'd been talking about it, whatever, but this was the actual knife in the heart. And I get what you're feeling because
I'm going to root for him.
Oh, I think we all
and
are.
Unfortunately, I'm going to root for FSU as well because that's his team now. But I'm more rooting for him, obviously, than I am for his school. So it could have been worse. I mean, he could have gone to who knows where. He could have gone to anywhere he really wanted to that was in need of a quarterback.
I would have been angry if he went to UF. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
That would have been worse.
I think we've all said that at this point. There's a lot of even Nebraska would have been worse.
Oh, Nebraska would have been the dagger for sure.
So, like I said, I'm going to root for him. At least we'll be able to see all of his games. Sorry, I got stuff in my throat. All of a sudden, when I'm talking about this, stuff gets in the throat. But yeah, I mean, I'm kind of at a loss for words, and I'm kind of not. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot to take in. At least we'll be able to see all the games. I think I already said that. I'm repeating myself a lot, I know. But I'm trying all these thoughts. This is still kind of fresh. This came out, about 2:30, 3 o'clock, maybe? So it's all kind of new. I guess Florida State, I mean, I don't know. They're not the Florida, so they're not the complete, blue blood team. They are blue blood, but they're not as blue blood as Florida is. So I've always kind of, when there was a chance to root for FSU, I would. I would never root for Florida. In fact, I was watching the Florida game the other day when LSU beat them, and I was jumping up and down and screaming, yes. I was so happy. I hate the Gators. I hate it. And all their Walmart freaking wearing
fans,
jorts
wearing fans.
Well, whatever. They buy all their stuff at Walmart anyway. None of the people that, I mean, there's a few people that actually went there that root for them, but most of their fans just, bought their ugly blue and whatever orange stuff at Walmart. So I'm glad we don't have to deal with that. That would have been really a gut punch.
Yeah.
I mean, Ole Miss I could have understood. I've been looking at social media, and I probably shouldn't even look at social media anymore. I look and I see people's dumb comments on there. There was some today about this, and they're like, you see people talking about things that they are speculating they don't even know. They're saying things like, oh, he's not going to be the starter. I mean, why would he go there? He's just going to sit on the bench. Like, these freaking morons.
Haven't been following FSU then.
Yeah, they don't know. I mean, there's a lot of uneducated football fans out there. And I'm not talking about just UCF fans. There are some uneducated UCF fans, like I've said in the past. But there's a lot that are just normal college football fans that just have no clue what they're talking about. So I urge these people to listen to our show I try
Get
to.
educated.
I try to give good information. I try to, I mean, if you look back, my record is pretty good when I talk about this kind of stuff.
Andrew's got this "the more you know" gif that goes over his head every time he says something like that.
I do. Yeah. So I mean, I try. I hate speculating. I hate it, and I shouldn't hate it because that's what we do. That's what podcasts and radio and all that stuff is about. It's about speculating about what's going to happen in a game and then talking about it afterwards.
Right.
I hate speculating. I hate it. And I probably shouldn't even be doing this kind of stuff. I've come to that realization. So one of these days, I won't. Not anytime soon. It's okay. But it's just not fun. I mean, predicting things like I did UCF going 13-0. I did that. Do you remember?
Yeah. You did that a few times.
I'm just
Didn't always happen, but you did it.
That time it happened. That time it definitely happened. Yeah, this last year I thought it was going to happen too. Oh boy. Yeah, so I'm weirded out today because of this.
So let me ask you just one quick question. I'm just going to revisit a quick topic that we were talking about a couple weeks ago. Statue for KZ, does this change anything for you?
No, absolutely not. No, the combination of him and Scott Frost made UCF football what it is today, I think. Yes, there was a foundation before that, obviously. That, from day one, they were building the program of UCF. But there for a long time, it kind of just was there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, I started this in the O'Leary years.
Well, and O'Leary was a big part of that too, right? So building the on-campus stadium, that was a big part of it. That was a big stage.
And that's why he has a statue there.
Yep.
I mean, he built what it is. I mean, he built the first couple floors
right.
of the skyscraper that it is today, but KZ built at least 3 or 4 of those floors on the top. We wouldn't have had a national championship if it wasn't for KZ. I don't believe. It could have been somebody else. It could have.
No, but I think you're right.
But I don't think that it would have.
The combination of those two were the perfect fit at the right time because even at we had the 2013 season, then we went into the 2014 season, quote unquote, underperformed based on what we were expecting. Then 2015 happened, and then we got basically a reset on the entire program at that point.
Thank God those players came together and said, we want O'Leary out. Thank God they did that 0-15 season. Thank God they laid down and let everybody roll on them that season. Because that's what happened, and I've said that a million times.
Well, I mean, look at the talent that was on that team is now in the NFL.
Right. So, yeah. So that was...
They could have won one, though. I mean, come on.
They could have, but why? Why win one?
To avoid the offer.
It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. There's a couple teams that went. My team, I think Kansas may have one game left. I don't know. They keep canceling games. I guess they're done. I don't know. So, yeah. Anyway.
All right, so.
We're going to talk to KZ. I don't know what I'm going to say to him on Tuesday night, so tune in for that. That'll be interesting. I have a couple days to think about it. So it'll be interesting. I just want to talk to him. I think one of the most important things is to tell him that we're all behind him. I think he knows that, obviously. We're fans of him no matter where he goes. The statue, I never even got to that. I do think at some point there probably should be a KZ statue. I ran a poll on Twitter a couple weeks ago that made a bunch of people mad, and I don't care. You know I don't care about making people mad. Never have, never will. 73% of people said that they thought that his jersey should be retired, even though UCF really doesn't do that. They have their little ring of fame around the stadium, and I think we talked about this Tuesday night a little bit.
Culpepper was unofficially retired for a long time until I think it was, I can't remember who the running back was that wore it, but maybe Storm Johnson wore it after that.
It was. So it wasn't technically retired, and they don't do it. So a bunch of people have worn 8 since then, I think. So, and really, Shaquille Griffin wore number 10 as well. So I just don't think that I was going to get behind a campaign, and I was going to build a campaign to retire the number 10 for KZ. But I was like, you know what? I'm going to do a Twitter poll and just see what people's opinions. And most people's opinions that actually commented were that if we're going to do that, then we have to do 8 and 18. Those were the ones that people really wanted to be included in that. And I think there's other ones that should be as well. My suggestion after that was then to put on the Roth Tower, up by on the bottom, maybe, where the national championships, 2017 national champions is, maybe just have a 10 and 18 and 8, numbers up there like that. I think that would be cool to do that. But then who's going to, somebody's going to wear 10 again. Somebody,
Well, that's the thing, right? The thing about this program is and you've heard me say this a million times, every 8 years we usually up our ante, go into a new program or a new conference or something like that. We have not reached the pinnacle yet. Yes, 2017 was an amazing season. It was a national championship season, but we haven't hit the pinnacle of what this program will be. And until that happens, I'm not sure we do, to your point, we want to retire those numbers. But I do think highlighting those, because everybody will know, okay, number 10 means Mackenzie Milton.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, I don't even know if you can retire numbers in college football right now because of the size of teams. And there's people wearing the same number. There's more than 99, members on a football team. So, you see, in fact, teams getting in trouble for having 2 players on the field at the same time with the same number. There's a 10 on offense. There's a 10 on defense.
Special teams especially, too.
Yeah. So, I don't know. But, yes, definitely I believe there should be and could be at some point a statue of Mackenzie. I believe that belongs at UCF and not anywhere else. Who knows? He'll probably have one in the pros if he gets there too. I hope so. I just want whatever is best for Mackenzie. That's all that I want. And I will always be a fan of his, and I can't wait to see him play. So it's exciting. Although, just very strange feelings going through my head right now. And I was prepared for it. I knew, we all knew it was going to happen. So it's not like I was unprepared and, I just didn't know it was going to be today. You know what I'm saying? It could have been any other day. Whatever. It's all good. So, I guess we also have a bowl game that's coming up, which, it's really weird. It's coming up on the 22nd. It is now the 13th that we're recording this. They better pretty quickly get us our opponent for that game, or I don't think we should play, actually. I don't think we should play. They need to get us our opponent within like a couple days. It better be tomorrow, actually.
Monday is what I've heard.
It better be Monday. Well, yeah. That's still very, very short notice to have that. It takes a long time for everybody to watch tape and to really analyze tape and all that stuff. So this is going to be a crapshoot, no matter who it is.
A couple things to note. It is a roofclaim.com sponsored bowl. That came up again. And it is the Boca Raton Bowl. Originally, even UCF had said in their release that they were expecting an ACC team, an ACC opponent in this bowl game. However, 2 of the 3 teams that were being rumored have opted out, basically, of the bowl. So Pitt was one of those. BC was another. Both of those have decided they are not going to participate in a bowl game this year. Virginia Tech is another one that is an option for us. and Virginia was the fourth one that they were talking about from the ACC. So,
does it really matter who it is at this point?
Well, no, but
we would love to have an ACC team.
I think that was the point of jumping on the Boca Bowl so early, was because it was still within the state and we were going to play an ACC opponent. So now that's potentially not happening. I mean, we'll see. Virginia Tech just finished their season this past weekend, so we'll see if they actually lock in or not. Hopefully tomorrow, but if not, then that leaves us with a G5 team. So if it's a G5 team or G4 team, let's call it G4 since we're the P6, right? The G4 teams that are available, you've got Marshall, you've got Liberty, you've got a few of these high-end teams, and part of this is to obviously get some more practice in for all of our newbies that we have out there, but the second part of this also is to finish off the season with a win and another bowl win. This is actually our fifth straight season going to a bowl game, which has not happened in the past, and it's the 8th in 9 seasons that we've gone to a bowl game, and the 12th in 16 seasons. So in the past, we always had that up and down. You had about a 50% chance. You can see the progress as far as the program is concerned, and it's something that we definitely need to continue to show. I mean, FSU had that streak of 30-some years that they were going to bowl games until that ended recently. So I think that this is something that, one, gives us some extra practice, and two, gives us the ability to finish the season on a high note.
Yeah. No, whatever. Yeah, I don't care who it is, to be honest with you. I just want us to win. That's all I want. I just want us to win. And nobody get hurt that's coming back.
I agree with that. And the only other thing that's a little bit problematic is our Cincy Hoops game which is a big game for us, was scheduled at 4 p.m. for the same Saturday. So it'll be interesting to see. Most of the people that, if someone were to go to the Hoops game, they would not be able to view the start of the Boca Bowl based on the length of the game. So that's a little problematic, and it's really...
I think most people can figure that out, though, for themselves. There's this thing that's called a cell phone, and most people can get television on their cell phone
I
now.
Get that, but at the end of the day... I mean,
that's what I would do.
But if I were AD Danny White, right, we had the choice on when to set the Hoops game. Why would you set it for an overlap with the bowl game? That makes no sense to me.
Because we didn't know what day our bowl game was going to be.
They did.
And the schedule, they didn't know.
They knew the day that it was supposed to be, the 22nd, when they scheduled the 4 p.m. tip, because it's on ESPN Plus. That came out actually at the same time as what the bowl game announcement was.
Well, we don't choose when we set tip times.
On ESPN Plus, we do.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, on ESPN Plus we do.
I still think the American Conference has something to do with that. I don't think that's the school's decision.
From my understanding, it is. And especially since we're producing it now. So it's not even like they have to have an ESPN production team on site.
I don't know. I don't know about that. I'll have to look into that. But I don't agree with that.
The other good news is Trey Nixon, Greg McCrae, Otis Anderson, and Jacob Harris are all practicing for this game. So we'll at least get to see those guys again for this game, no matter who we end up playing.
Yeah.
And something kind of odd, and I'm just going to mention this in passing, LSU decided to opt out for a bowl ban for this year because they've got some issues that are going on with the NCAA. And they chose this year when they're, 2 and whatever?
Well, because everybody can go to a bowl. It doesn't matter what your record is.
I agree, but if you're going to choose a bowl game, I mean, it really doesn't matter this year when you're 2 and whatever and you've got a COVID opt-out year. So they strategically did that, but I don't think the NCAA will take too kindly to that. But it was kind of odd for them to do that.
Self-imposed penalties. The NCAA loves the self-imposed penalties because then they don't have to look like the bad guy with that. So they probably will accept that. Whatever. I kind of wonder what all that was about, and what kind of eligibility issues there'll be after that for other stuff. It'll be interesting when the whole story on that comes out.
Absolutely.
I'm sure they got caught paying Joe Burrow or something.
Well,
sure
there
they
was
probably did.
There was some rumors of some sexual misconduct that wasn't necessarily handled the right way either.
Dang it, Ed Ogeron. Come over here, little girl.
No. Wow. We're not putting that out there.
Was that not?
No. These were players that he didn't.
Go
he didn't
Tigers.
Give the old, yeah, he didn't give the old. Hey, you shouldn't do that. Go Tigers. I think I could actually pull off a Ed Ogeron impression. What do you think?
I don't know.
That guy is interesting. But anyway, interesting thing for Bowl. But hopefully we get a decent opponent. I think UCF was it wasn't. I think they were expecting an ACC opponent. We'll see how it shakes out. But we should hopefully know by Monday who that bowl opponent will be, and at least it's close and in the state. As long as it isn't like FAU. If it's FAU, that's going to be soggy.
I'm looking at this playoff picture. They're talking about the NFL. It looks like my Chiefs may have
clinched
the division, which is awesome.
Well, I mean, they had a heck of a record, so I can't imagine that they wouldn't have.
I don't know. Did the Steelers play? Yeah, they still have a chance.
The Steelers lost last week, as I recall.
Yeah, they've lost one. We've lost one. They've lost one, but we've won one more than they have. We've played one more game. I don't know. I think they had a game canceled or something. Anyway, I just looked and they had the little Y by our name, so I know that we clinched the AFC West. Obviously, that's easy. But anyway, that's another story altogether. I know you're a lot of these Bucs fans down here in Florida are not very happy with my Chiefs after that game.
Well, whatever. I mean, I know a few of our
friends are Bucs. I don't know if Tom Brady's quit crying yet, to be honest with you.
He's never stopped crying. That man, I mean, if you ever watch a game, he was constantly talking to the refs, like, I got knocked down. You should be penalizing that. And invariably, the next series, there was some flag for some random something or other.
All right. You know what? This is a good time for a break. We're going to be right back, and we're going to talk about a lot more nonsense when we come back.
Hey, this is Travis Dever, Kai's Real Estate, the Dever team, New Smyrna Beach. Your source for real estate and everything else, New Smyrna Beach. Proud sponsor of Knightline. Call me anytime at 386-690-1636. That's 386-690-1636. Let me show you my hometown, New Smyrna Beach, UCF's favorite beach. Go Knights and charge on.
An auto accident can change your life forever. At Chad Barr Law, we are raising the bar on what to expect from your personal injury attorney. Hi, I'm Chad Barr, and I want you to know that our entire team is dedicated to providing you with the representation you deserve in your greatest time of need. If you or a loved one have been injured in an auto accident, call 407-599-9036 for a free consultation or visit chadbarlaw.com. At Chad Barr Law, our clients come to us in need and leave as family. Offices Altamont Springs.
Looking for more out of your Porsche? Look no further than Flat6Motorsports.com. They have the widest selection of aftermarket Porsche parts anywhere in the world. With over 85 product lines and in-depth expertise, Flat6Motorsports.com is your one-stop shop for any Porsche performance needs. Whether you're shopping for intakes, exhausts, suspension, or tuning, they have you covered. Flat6Motorsports.com is the premier Porsche aftermarket specialist. Check them out at Flat6Motorsports.com. All right, Flat6Motorsports.com is our good friend John Swift's company, by the way. He used to be on here and did, what was Crunching the Numbers.
Crunching the Numbers.
He was on a couple weeks ago was it on Knightline or was it on the radio? I can't remember. It was on
Knightline.
He was on a couple weeks ago, though, so he's a good guy. So if you have a Porsche, definitely go check that out. Flat 6 has all kinds of stuff and really, really good prices as well. So, all right. What are we going to talk about next, Roger?
I don't know. Should we just shut it?
We've talked about the bowl game.
KZ and bowl game. Should we just shut it down here or should we keep going?
Probably should. I mean, I guess there's other news, obviously. Co-offensive coordinator and running backs coach Anthony Tucker is leaving, going to Utah State to be an offensive coordinator, not a co-offensive coordinator. Yes, Josh Heupel is still going to call the plays here, folks. No, 2 of his 4 plays will not go away. That's what somebody was saying on Twitter. Does that mean 2 of his 4 plays are going to go away now? Are you kidding me? Come on.
Wow. You got it. Listen,
People-
that was crass and idiotic, but it was funny. I mean, you've got to give credit.
I don't
where
think
it's
the
credit
person
due.
was even trying to be funny that said it. That's the part that,
okay.
irks me.
Okay, I thought they were just being sarcastic.
No.
You know, the old
No,
asterisk.
I think that they were. I think they may have been serious.
Wow.
Yeah. Anyway, co-offensive coordinator here is this job in that position for Anthony Tucker, for Coach whatever the new guy.
Oh, over
The
there,
tight
Utah
end
State.
guy. No, the tight end.
Golish.
I couldn't remember his name.
I wasn't sure if you were going to Utah
I'm not
State.
editing
I was
this. I'm not editing this, so I'm going to go with it. If I forget somebody's name,
we should have had a few before this one. Then.
well, there was somewhere I was just like, I don't know. Yeah. So this is a stepping stone job because you're not calling any plays. Heupel's calling all the plays like he always has. So this is a quote job. You know, you can say you were co-offensive coordinator, even though you didn't do anything that a offensive coordinator does except maybe sit in the booth. That's about all that. I mean, I'm sure did some game planning and stuff like that, whatever. But this is Josh Heupel calling all the plays, and I know a lot of people hate it. Well, I don't care.
It'll be interesting because now, we had co-offensive coordinators. Now Golish is the sole offensive coordinator. It'll be interesting to see if we hire another co-offensive coordinator to go along with him.
I'm sure there will be. In fact, it probably should be our offensive line coach, honestly, if they just want to go within and make him one of the co-offensive coordinators. I like it when the O-line coaches are offensive coordinators.
So do you think it's an elevation, or do you think it's we hire somebody else? Because obviously we're going to need another running backs coach.
Well, yeah. I mean, they have the opportunity. They only have so many spots. So, yes, they can hire somebody else.
Money's definitely a consideration right now, too.
People really seem to hate Toth as well. And I don't understand that. Our special teams aren't horrible. But that was one of the other things. Oh, can Toth go with him at the same time? Can we get rid of him now? Like, are you kidding me? You know how special it is at this level of football to even have a special teams coordinator? We didn't have one for a long time.
Well, let me be the devil's advocate on that conversation. Our special teams, ever since old Matty Ice left, has not Patty Ice, who, by the way, kicked his first points for the Steelers, both a field goal and extra points. So hats off to you, Matty Ice. Actually enjoyed Matt while he was here. His family's awesome, whatever. So I'm really happy to see him, be successful with the Steelers. And but ever since he left, our
which
punt
was
return game,
1 year. 2 years.
2 years.
2 years.
2 years.
Was it horrible last year?
Obarski?
No, not Obarski. Was not kicking field goals.
No, not for field goals.
Last year.
Special teams in general. Let's. This is the umbrella, right? Yeah. So our punt returns.
Is it the players or the coach that caused the problems?
I think if it's consistent over time and it's not getting any better, then maybe it's the coach.
Has it been horrible?
Okay, what do you define as horrible?
I don't know. What do you define? I mean, you're playing the devil's advocate, so I'm just asking questions.
When I've got someone who's kicking 60% of his field goals, I think that's pretty terrible. Someone who's kicking out of bounds the previous year, that's pretty terrible. Our punt return average
was he 60% this year? I think he was a lot more than that.
No,
I only
not
think
for field goals.
Are you sure?
Yeah, look it up. I think it's like 67, 66%, something like that.
I think it was more than that, but
you might be right.
I'll look it up.
Okay. In the meantime, the other issue is the punt returns. We haven't our punt return average has not been very good for the past 2 years. Our kick return average hasn't been good. Now, kick returns, there were some changes to the game that obviously affect all of that as well. So, I mean, you get a kind of a pass on that because it's actually more advantageous to let kicks go as opposed to returning them now with the changes in the rules. But the punt returns have not been good. So, if you look at it holistically in between that, they put us in some bad positions. I think that's where a lot of this is coming from for Coach Toth. It's been multiple areas that have been lacking.
I don't know if it's his fault, though, personally. Let's see. Let me see if I can find 68.
Okay,
68.
I was close. 67 is
That's
what
almost
I said.
that's almost 70. So he missed 2 extra points last year. No, he made 2 extra points. Made all of them. He was 100%. Extra points, he's 93.6 for extra points.
Which I would expect at a Division I level.
Yeah. Field goals made 11. Field goals attempted 16. So he missed 5. He's missed 5. One of them was, a pretty big one. But I don't think that's horrible. He's a sophomore. This was his first year. I think he's going to get better.
Maybe we just have been so used to great kickers
Of
over
course.
the past 5 seasons, I guess, that this is just a letdown. But
who was our kicker last year? Yeah, see, you don't even remember his name.
No, but he was automatic.
I don't know about automatic.
Look up the.
He wasn't 100%.
Look up the stats. Because remember, the other thing was we were kicking.
I have to know his name.
I don't remember his name at the moment, but and apologies to you because you performed well. The challenge with all of that though is there has to be some consistency, and the challenge with for me with Obarski has been that we have not been kicking field goals from long range. These have been relatively short, 35 to 38-yard field goals at maximum. And I don't think he's kicked longer than a 40-yard field goal or attempted one.
It was Dylan Baronis. Remember him?
Yeah.
88.2 on field goals. He missed 2. He missed 1 extra point. He was 98.6 in 2019. And
how many attempts did he have?
Extra points?
No, for field goals.
17, and he hit 15 of them.
Okay, so he had 1 more.
So he was 88.2% in his 1 year of kicking for...
Does it show a long?
No.
Okay. Well, my challenge with it is, again, there were many times where I think Coach may have opted to go for a field goal but was not comfortable with our... I think
Matty Ice is like the number 1 points scoring player in UCF history, right?
He is, yeah. But he played as a freshman, and
right.
He played all the way throughout his career.
Right. So, I mean, when you're going from something like that to anybody that's new, Orbowski has the power. I know that he has the leg. It's just not
consistent.
Well, it takes time for this. I doubt that you... In fact, I would bet you $1,000 that you could not go out and do better than he did.
No, but I'm not a kicker. I don't even have to take that bet. I can tell you 100% that he would 100% kick better than I would.
Yeah.
But I'm not the kicker.
Yeah. Well, he's not that good. I mean, he's, whatever. He'll get better. We had him on here too, by the way. Yeah, I think he was the last player that I talked to.
I think you're right.
So I was excited about having him because the tape that he has was really good. He was kicking stuff from like 60 yards out. So
we know he has the leg. He's just whether he has the consistency. I mean, that's
I think
the big
that comes
thing.
with time. I mean, if we write every player off as a sophomore, you know what I'm saying? We won't have very many players. Because there's a lot of players that didn't play good as a freshman or a sophomore. Mackenzie Milton played horribly as a freshman.
He didn't play horribly. He played horribly in that game.
He played horribly in a lot of games.
Yeah, but...
His freshman year. Do you remember at the Cure Bowl?
Yes, I remember the Cure Bowl. I was there.
People chanting for Holman. For God's sakes, Holman.
I do remember that because my uncle, it was his first football game, American football game. He flew in from Germany, and he was
told this story like a couple weeks ago.
Did I?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, either way, there's a picture of him in the newspaper with him with his arms folded. Yes, I remember that.
That is one of the KZ memories that will live in my mind forever. I was so shocked. I mean, I was just like, give the kid a freaking chance. And I was so mad at the crowd that was chanting for Holman. I was so mad. I just, that almost caused him not to even come back.
Yeah, I remember. He cleared out his room and everything.
He moved. He went back to Hawaii and wasn't coming back. People don't realize that. Maybe we'll talk to him about that on
Frost
Tuesday.
coaxed him back.
Yeah, he went to Hawaii and brought him back. Like, literally went there and was like, come on, KZ, we got to go. There was other things that were involved, too, that I know about that most people don't. But whatever. It is what it is. I'm never going to say, so don't ask. I probably shouldn't have said that, but it is what it is. There's all kinds of stuff that goes on in college players' lives that we don't know about, and we never should know about. So, anyway. All right, so you think Nick Toth should go as well?
I said I was playing devil's advocate.
Oh.
I didn't say that I was necessarily agreeing one way or the other. I will say that there is an argument that can be made for it.
Good for Anthony Tucker, though.
Yeah.
It's a lateral move.
Ish.
It's probably a step down team-wise.
But responsibility-wise.
What do they play? In the Mountain West, Utah State?
They do.
Okay. So, yeah, responsibility-wise, he can go and be an actual offensive coordinator. And
he's rekindling with Blake Anderson, who he had played with in the past. So he's the new head coach there at Utah State. And so he's rekindling with that. And all of us know that assistants tend to follow head coaches different places.
You've got it on here. Everybody was like, get Kevin Smith, get Kevin Smith, get Kevin Smith. You really think that's going to happen?
I don't think it's really going to happen. But I'd love to have Kevin Smith back.
He's making quite a bit more money, I think, where he's at. Probably, I thought I saw that he was making at least $100,000 more.
Than
Tucker was making here. So, unfortunately, he's in the SEC, and SEC coaches make a lot more money. So they very rarely, even though, coming back to your alma mater, all blah, 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 you never know. Maybe he wants to. Maybe he's made his money and wants to come back, but I doubt it. So it would be awesome. It would definitely be awesome. I hope KZ makes it back here one of these days as a coach in my lifetime.
I think we're all in that camp.
Okay, what's this next thing you got on here?
Speaking of the SEC, we had a big bomb drop here that might affect UCF a little bit. The SEC has signed a new contract with ESPN. So remember, they had a contract with CBS. Now ESPN is taking over for a lot more money. So the CBS contract was worth $51 million. And now they're going to have $21 million per school per year that's added to their contract.
When did this break?
Probably 2-3 days ago. So the way that it affects UCF is that there are some guaranteed ABC ESPN slots, those late afternoon and evening primetime slots. So the AAC has enjoyed some ABC exposure and some ESPN exposure. We get our Black Friday game typically on ESPN Prime or ABC, and so there's a potential that there could be some issues there for us in retaining that exposure with the SEC now being brought on. So there's open question for that.
We've got a contract with them, though. The American has a contract with the ESPN.
But it only guarantees a certain number of ABC and ESPN slots, which is more than it was before, but they were giving us more than what we actually were contracted for.
Okay.
So with ESPN now buying the SEC content out, if they can stick the SEC content out, the idea is they can bring more eyeballs in those same slots, so we would see the number of slots that we've enjoyed recently be reduced. So that's the concern there for that. Obviously, the other thing is, what do the other conferences do with regard to this? Because what you've always heard, whether it be the Big Ten, the Big 12, anybody else, they're like, we want to stay within a certain range of what all the other conferences are doing. Obviously, the SEC is the biggest moneymaker, along with the Big Ten. However, with this big boost in their contract, the other conferences start separating further and further and further apart and further behind. So how does this impact them? Is there a potential that they could...
I think the SEC should go out on their own and do what they want to do. They can form their own little league.
Well, they already do whatever they want to do.
I know. They should just separate from all the rest, and we'll, everybody else will be the rest, and SEC and the rest. It's fine. I don't care. It doesn't matter. We don't play them anyway.
I mean, not right now, but I mean, the Big Ten is the same way. I mean, look at the example of Ohio State playing in the conference championship game. They bent all the rules for Ohio State to play.
Yeah.
Right? So
we'll see.
It's the rules don't apply to everyone equally. So the question is now...
This doesn't start till 2024, by the way. 2024.
Yes, but...
Begins with the 2024 football season.
Yes, but I think they have an option for 2021. I think they're working with CBS to try to buy out the 2021 to 2023 right now. So the contract with CBS ends in 2023. However, they're trying to go back because what ESPN has been doing and what Disney Plus has been doing is they're trying to buy content to maintain the growth that they've seen in their subscriptions. Disney has a plan to try to make that channel profitable by 2024. So that's why you're seeing the moves for them to invest in that. They also invested in their other platforms as well.
To make what channel?
All of their online channels. So the Disney Plus and ESPN
you don't think
Plus.
that's profitable?
It's not profitable in aggregate right now.
Really?
I can tell you that.
That's shocking.
Yes, it's not.
I'm surprised.
So they're going to be bumping up the cost as well so that they can go and acquire more titles to bring in better quality stuff here coming up soon too. So all those folks that have ESPN Plus, you should expect in the next couple years that your cost will raise.
It always works like that. I mean,
yeah,
obviously.
But it's going to be significant. So there's a plan around it. They have a profitability number around 2024 that they're a profitability target that they're trying to hit. For those of you that don't remember, I did work for the Mouse for a while, so I see a lot of their numbers, and this has been something they've been working on for longer than just the past couple of years.
Not surprising at all. I literally had no idea about this, and I get pretty much every sports news thing ever. So I must have been who cares when I saw it.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I do think it affects things because the other conferences are going to be looking at, okay, well, how do we increase our revenue? One, how much money does that leave the rest of us? We're locked into a 12-year conference or deal with an average of $7 million a year, I think, for the remainder of our contract. So we're pretty much stuck if we stay in the AC. But the other conferences
CBS is going to be looking for content now.
That's true too.
I mean,
but all of our content's built. From what I remember, I think ESPN retained the tier 3, which is what's going on ESPN Plus as well. So if ESPN Plus wants to do what they used to, or ESPN wants to do what they used to do, which is sell our content to CBS or sublease it, the stuff that they don't want, then there's a possibility there for that as well. But the conference doesn't get any additional value out of it.
Yeah. I really could care less about this kind of stuff. I know it's kind of
it drives expansion because there's only two ways. I don't want to use that word, but 2025 has always been the target date and target year that everybody starts looking at things. And I can tell you, there's two ways that they get more money. One of them is expansion. So we'll see what happens with that. But the other conferences are going to start looking around and say, "Hey, what about me?"
Yeah. Well, a lot of the other conferences aren't worth a lot nowadays. The Pac-12, the Big 12, which is 8 or 10. It's 10, I guess. The Big 12 this year was pretty bad. So I don't know.
Well, the Big 12 goes the way of Texas and Oklahoma, so we'll see what happens there.
Yeah.
The other big thing for me, just the concern, was exposure. One of the great things that's been there for our run has been the exposure that we've gotten on ABC and ESPN. So if there's the potential that the AAC in aggregate and UCF selfishly...
I think the AAC will have a huge problem with that if we don't get nearly... if the SEC starts taking over all of our time, I think there'll be legal action from the American on that.
Again, we can still get the contracted amount that we're getting, and they can still give the extra slots that we've been getting to the SEC, which is what I'm fearful is going to happen.
Yeah. Well, I guess we'll see. Hopefully not. Yeah. They actually mentioned the post-Thanksgiving Friday game, a late afternoon. ESPN or ABC will feature. Yeah. In an article that I was reading in SI. I don't know. I guess we'll come to that when we come to that.
Yep.
I'm not real worried about it right now, but I guess it's news, though. Recruiting is coming up. When is National Signing Day?
December. I don't remember off the top of my head. I didn't write that down. I should have. The one thing I didn't put in my vociferous notes here.
Yeah,
You'll have to look it up what the actual day is, but I believe it's in December, end of December.
December 16th.
There it is.
Is the day. December 16th through the 18th. So that is coming up like this week.
Yeah.
Like, what is tomorrow, the 14th? You're probably listening to this on tomorrow, the 14th. So that would be like Wednesday, I think. Wednesday. The 16th through the 18th would be Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So that's good. Hopefully, a lot of those kids... Okay, so here are the periods. Basketball, the early period was November 11th through November 18th. The regular period for Division I basketball is April 14th through May 19th. Division I football early period is December 16th through December 18th. Division I and II football mid-year junior college transfers is also starts in December 16th but goes all the way to January 15th. And then the Division I and II football regular period is February 3rd. Final signing date of April 1st, 2021. And for Division II, which we really don't care about that much, is August 1st as well, or August 1st. So
the thing is, what's going to be interesting and different about this year that's COVID related is that the transfer portals. The weird thing about this is that everybody gets a free transfer.
I don't know if that was COVID related. I think that was negotiated before COVID.
Well, what's COVID related and where I was going with this was since there are still games that are being played, right? Because not everybody started at the same date. The Pac-12, the Big Ten, they started later. And then some are being remade. Some of these games are being made up afterwards, and I know that the transfer portal is expected to be a hot commodity this year because they get a free transfer, and this year doesn't count against their eligibility. So I know that UCF, that is in the back of UCF's mind. You're starting to see as these schools finish, some of those guys get into the transfer portal, but there's going to be some guys that they're expecting that are out there or they're wanting to they expect to be in the transfer portal that they're interested in, that they're going to hold slots for. So it'll be interesting to see how many of those slots stay open because we are already starting to see some commitment traffic come through and some other transfers that are open in the portal have some serious interest both ways.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's a rule, though, for the transfer, the one-time transfer is without being held out for a year is every year from now on. I think that's done. That's a done deal. So that's what I was saying. It has nothing to do with COVID. But everybody getting this year back in eligibility does have something to do with COVID. So.
Yeah, it's just a weird year.
It's gonna be weird with recruiting. It's going to mess up recruiting, I think, for a couple of years, actually, giving everybody the year of eligibility this year because some of those people could be freshmen. They're going to have an extra year at the end of their year, or at the end of their 4 years of college eligibility. So they're technically going to have 5. Everybody is technically going to have another year. So it's going to mess up recruiting. I mean, I could do it for 4 years, maybe even 5 years. It could screw it up. I don't know if that was the best idea for them to do that. I would say it probably was not a good idea. So it'll be interesting to see how that affects stuff for so long. Mackenzie Milton, by the way, I'm looking at the transfer portal right now, and it's solid over there with a little FSU icon. Daryl Mack still nobody knows. We need a little like a wheel of. I need a wheel sound, like the wheel
of transfer.
Yeah,
the wheel of portal wheel.
Yeah, like the wheel of fortune. I need a little sounder for that. I'll have to look for that. Remind me, wheel of fortune.
Taking a note right now.
Did you really type that with one hand, or were you
No.
gibberish?
Just trying to make it loud enough so everybody could hear it.
That would have been awesome if you really did that. I would have, especially with your left hand. That would have been, well, that wasn't your left hand.
That was my right hand.
Yeah.
But maybe I'm left-handed.
It
so
would have been
maybe-
awesome. It still would have been awesome. Next time, take my notes correctly. Thank you.
So we did get one today. So today, as we record, we had a D-line.
I'm going to interrupt for a second.
Yep.
Before I forget, this is why I interrupt, because I forget what I'm saying. I forget people's names. Golish, Alex, by the way. So Seminole High School in Sanford here.
Yep.
Gabe Davis, Bam Moore. Who knows who else came from there? Before that, there's probably more. Jordan Davis.
Jordan Davis, his brother's here.
And we're going to get some more from there this year, I hope, because this year they are going to the state championship game. Mm-hmm. They won on Friday night against Apopka. Heck of a game. I watched it on TV. I did not go, but I watched it. So congratulations to them. They're my stepdaughter's alma mater, and, not right down the street, but one of the closest high schools, probably the closest high school. We're in their little district. So congratulations to them, and I know that their principal, Jordan Rodriguez, listens to the show, and congratulations, my man.
Shout out. Wow. Couldn't even say that right.
I texted him the other night, go Knowles, because they're the Knowles as well. And, that was cool. Glad that I got to see that on TV. There's a little app, by the way, just if you want to see Florida high school stuff, just if you're interested and you don't know, if you have an Apple TV or whatever you have, NFHS Network is an app on Apple TV. I don't know if they have it for the Amazon or Google or Roku devices, but it's really cool. You pay a little bit of money and you can see everything. I mean, everything. Volleyball, basketball. They're not paying me to say this. I just think it's freaking awesome. I can even watch the game back. They have replays and all kinds of stuff. So very, very cool to be able to watch that. So December 5th. No, that's something else. All right. I was going to say, I thought that I don't know when the state championship game is being played. I don't see it on here yet. And I don't know who they're playing either, but it'll be cool. Because it's exciting. It's just exciting. I know we've got guys coming from there, so it's a good school. Oh, look at this! There's a giant. The headline on 24/7, not just Knights 24/7, but 24/7. The whole website is quarterback Mackenzie Milton transferring to FSU. Crazy. Absolutely freaking crazy. All right, well, that's going to be news. You're going to hear a lot about Mackenzie going forward. Be very, very interesting. All right, well, what else? I wanted to look at maybe our recruits that we're looking forward to getting. Maybe we should look real quick at those guys and see what we got. See if there's... I know there's new names. Did you mention the new name that we have?
Yeah, Malachi Lawrence out of Louisville, strong side defensive end. He's 6'4", 255. He's a 3-star. However, the coaches are really, really excited about him. Watched a little bit of tape. He's fast. He actually does really, really well with the techniques, swim moves, etc. He's not a one-technique kind of guy. So it was exciting to watch him, and he was one we were recruiting really, really hard. So getting him down here and getting that commitment today was really, really big news for us. We're probably going to be in the mix for another 2 or 3 defensive linemen. We need a defensive tackle. We need, obviously, some ends. That D-line group, and in fact, he may end up being a defensive tackle for us if he puts on some weight. There's some thought that maybe he puts on 20 or 30 pounds and he's able to get in that defensive tackle position. So
6'4", 255. Malachi Lawrence, I think is who you're talking about, right?
Yep, that's him.
Rated 5.5 3-star from Louisville.
Yep.
He is, let's see, our number 4 rated player as far as Rivals goes. So he would be 4th on the list of the best players in this.
And we've got a couple of other defensive linemen that are big names for us, too, that we're looking at that they feel pretty strongly about. So I don't want to name drop yet because there's there's a few moving pieces in there on how many we're going to take. But Lawrence was expected, and there's a couple more that I expect to be on the way.
Right now there is 7 defensive linemen on the board that have committed verbally to UCF. That's a lot. So it's might not be a horribly exciting group of people, but it could be very, very important.
An area of need for sure.
Yeah, to have those guys. Some guys not so big. The 6 foot, 175. Oh, that's a DB.
I was going to say, please don't tell me that's a lineman.
Okay, that's not right. So I counted the DBs in there. I'm joking. So 1, 2, 3, 3 or 4 defensive linemen. Sorry, I don't know why I saw DB. There's 4 defensive backs. So
obviously another area of need.
Yeah, that's a pretty big one, especially now. Our number 1 rated player is Jalen Griffin, the wide receiver from Texas.
Speedster. Really excited about him, too.
6'3", 183, 3-star. Nobody above 3-star, no 4 stars yet on here. So we shall see.
I think we're going to make in the transfers, though. I mean,
I think we're going to make up for that in transfers. I mean,
people forget how many 4 stars we have that came in on transfer. I mean, even A-Rob, he was a 4-star.
Yeah, you know,
we've got at least three 4 stars on our roster right now that are playing. Jaden Francois, that'll start next year. He came in as a transfer this year. There's Newt.
Robinson was a disappointment for me.
This year or in general?
This year.
Yeah.
For sure a disappointment.
There's some thought maybe that there was an injury situation involved with him because he looked a step slower. 2019, he looked great, and we were expecting a lot of big things for him out of 2020. He was definitely a step slower this year.
But I guess he's going to the NFL, from what I hear.
Yes.
So I don't know about that.
Well, we talked about it. The NFL guys, they like their nickels. So Kuiper is pretty high on him.
Yeah, we talked about it.
Yeah, Kuiper's pretty high on him. So we'll see what happens.
We'll see. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, he was disappointing this year, though.
Another, and Andrew, get ready to make fun of me if I completely butcher this, but I'm going to say Amarion Brown is another transfer to watch. Georgia Tech just finished out their season. He's officially in the transfer portal. He's a 5'9" receiver for Georgia Tech out of Jefferson and Tampa. He had 400 yards and 7 TDs as a freshman. He's got a family situation going on. We saw him when we played him, when we played Georgia Tech earlier this season. But I believe he was also a 4-star, and he is one to watch as far as a transfer is concerned. We are extremely interested in him.
A receiver?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm just looking him up in the transfer portal. What's his name again?
Amarion Brown, Ahmarean Brown.
Brown from Georgia Tech. All right, I'm looking.
All right.
Oh, yeah, now I see him.
Yeah, and then, so again, expect this the next probably week, obviously, not just for people actually signing their NLIs, but also the transfer portal the next week or two to be extremely active. So there might be some things coming out of left field that you're not expecting or that you hadn't heard about that will be coming to fruition.
Yeah, I mean, you never know what happens out of that out of the transfer portal. You just never know. So it can get quite exciting with that. I think that the transfer portal is even going to be more exciting than the actual National Signing Day. I think the more interesting stuff is going to happen in the transfer portal.
And I'd rather it be that way. And here's why. I don't know if you remember when they didn't have the mid-year National Signing Day, the NLI Day. Man, was it an opportunity for the P5 to work through their boards, and when they got to the bottom, then they cherry-picked, our high recruits. So it was always a race to the finish on National Signing Day. Well, now that you've got this new date, they have to commit a lot earlier, and we can commit our folks a lot earlier, so we don't have to hold on to them as long. So, once they're signed, unless they transfer. But it's really been a boon for us, but it's also a whole new avenue and recruiting strategy by doing this and having that transfer rule.
Yeah. Going to be interesting. There's not too many people that are moving yet on there. There is a few. Mackenzie. He's the number one guy in transfers this year, by the way. And I'm glad he made his decision quick, though. That's another thing. I'm glad he didn't drag this out and play a bunch of games. He's not a game player. His family's not game players. You know what I'm saying?
They're
as
great
far
people.
as that stuff goes, they just wanted to get it done. So that's why it happened as soon as it did. It's just not wanting to play that game. So, yeah, we'll see. I mean, there's a lot of people in the transfer portal. I mean, there's going to be a lot more. There's still games being played, so not everybody that's going to be in that transfer portal is. But I wish I could see a number of players that are in it. I cannot see that. But there are tons and tons of players in the transfer portal.
And there's, to your point, what we said before, as soon as these games start finishing out, then again, they're going to be jumping right into bowl games. I believe the rule is, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, Andrew, I believe the rule is once you go into the portal, you can't play anymore. So a lot of these folks are going to wait to get into the portal, and technically you're not supposed to speak to them or contact them until they're in the portal. So there'll be what I foresee kind of like a feeding frenzy here in the next probably month, within the next month. So it'll be really interesting to see how many spots we hold for that and who we pull in.
Yeah, I don't know what the rules are for the transfer portal as far as like when you have to sign, or I don't know if you have to sign by the National Signing Day, the real one in February or whatever it is. I'm not sure if that's a rule or whatever. Well, I don't know about that. I mean, you never know now. They've changed the rules on everything else, so they could have changed that and not told anybody. You never know. So the guys that are in the UCF transfer portal now, obviously Mackenzie Milton's gone, but Darryl Mack is still in there. Randy Charlton, Kenny Turnier is in there, Eric Mitchell's in there, and Antoine Quallier is all in there right now. So all those guys are trying to go someplace.
They're in the portal.
Randy Charlton actually has signed, I believe, with Mississippi State. So that's the one besides Mackenzie that are in there that have actually, there's some holdovers from like last year, I think, in here as well. So I don't know really why they're showing up in this one, but who knows? Who knows why? All right, let's take a break here, and we'll come back and talk about more stuff.
I'm Jeff Allen. Join me each and every week on the Knightline Sports Network for the AAC Report. We bring you in-depth coverage of each school in football, basketball, baseball, softball, soccer, golf, tennis, and more, as well as bring you insider interviews and focus in on the biggest games and news of the week. That's all right here each week on the AAC Report, only on the Knightline Sports Network.
Hello, Night Nation. This is Andrew Phegley reminding you to tune in every Tuesday night, 9 to 10 p.m. on WDBO 107.3 FM and AM 580, plus the WDBO app for Knightline at Night. Brought to you by Chad Bar Law. We'll be taking your calls and your texts reacting to the previous week's UCF sports action, and you never know who will show up. Once again, that's Knightline at Night, every Tuesday, 9 to 10 p.m. on WDBO 107.3 FM and AM 580, plus the WDBO app. Go Knights and charge on.
Welcome. This is a promo for the Take a Left at Albuquerque podcast, new to the Knightline Sports Network. You should listen to it. I say things like this.
We need to stop blaming Jerry because we would do the exact same thing if we owned the Dallas freaking Cowboys. Do you know how much fun it is to own the Dallas Cowboys?
My guests will say things sometimes like this.
It's the Lord of the Flies thing that happens when they don't understand that things are wrong, spoiler alert, until Piggy dies.
Lord of the Flies has been out for like 100 years. I don't even know.
Yeah. Sorry to everyone at home who I spoiled the book for. A book's been out for like 90 years or something.
And sometimes, rarely though, I'll say really stupid things like this. If they don't make it out of the West and the Raptors get to the finals, I will go on either this show or whoever's show and say that Kawhi Leonard is overrated because I have too much evidence of it. New episodes drop every Friday with me and some of my good friends right here on the Knightline Sports Network.
All right, we're back. We did not go far.
Wow.
I've just been looking stuff up while you've been talking, Roger. I appreciate you just talking along. I'm just trying to have a conversation. I was just looking at this transfer portal and just wondering how this is all going to play out. It's kind of exciting. I love this time of year. I love seeing where players go, and it's like I said, it's even going to be more exciting, and I think that a lot of the excitement is going to come from that transfer portal. I mean, look at we got Brandon Wimbush from and that was exciting to get him.
Yeah, from Notre Dame.
But then again,
absolutely.
His situation didn't quite play out correctly and all that stuff. So it was still exciting. I remember the moment that we all heard about it. So and I'm sure the FSU fans are excited tonight. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this whole thing playing out, and you never know.
Well, we got Devod Wilson, right?
Yeah.
That was exciting.
Yeah.
Jaden Francois was exciting, So I have a feeling that's, the NLI stuff, people are going to sign. And what's really going to be the Wild Wild West is this transfer portal, especially since not everybody's in there at the same time. So there'll be a lot of strategery in there to see strategery to see if
oh my God.
Do you remember that reference? There'll be a lot of strategery in there to try to figure out how many we're holding back and where we go with it.
You made that up, didn't you?
No, I didn't.
You didn't make that up?
No,
Who was it that made it up?
That was a Bush faux pas from back in the day. So strategery.
So there's some coaching changes, right, that have happened in the last couple days? Is that right? Some coaches got fired?
Yeah.
Not with UCF, but with college football?
Yeah, there's been Auburn's coach, Gus Malzahn, has been shown the exit, which is a big one. He's been kind of a staple around there.
I'm surprised in that, to be honest with you.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
So Vanderbilt has also opened up their.
Who cares?
Well,
I mean, they're horrible.
Listen,
they're playing girls.
Well, hold on.
They're playing girls.
I'm not going to touch that.
No, I mean, I like it. I love that they're playing the girl. Don't get me wrong, but they're resorting to getting girl kickers. You think we have a kicker problem? They really have a kicker problem.
I'm not touching it.
That's all I'm saying. I mean, I'm happy with it. I love it, but you got to think about that.
Well, what's interesting about Vanderbilt is they just came out.
They have a great women's soccer team. That's the whole deal.
Well, that's
their
not where
women's soccer team is way better than their football team. They could probably play football better than them. Obviously, yeah.
But as it relates to the coaching carousel or what it's going to be this year, Vanderbilt came out, their president actually came out and said that
Heupel's not going anywhere, so don't even go there.
Yeah, no, that's not where I was going with it.
I know, but I'm just messing with you.
Yeah, so they
Heupel's not going to Auburn.
No, he's definitely not going to Auburn. But they had come out and said that they were going to allow the coach to help pay for the facilities. We all know Vanderbilt needs facilities upgrades. I've been there. Actually, our Nashville office is right up the street from their stadium.
I don't understand that, though. I can't understand that.
What?
They're like they're funded.
One of the best endowed universities in the country.
And they can't support their football or their sports.
Their president didn't. They wanted to focus on academics. So this president
the Vanderbilts need to open up their wallets, I guess.
Oh, they don't even need to. The school is making it in between their medical centers and everything that they've got going on. They've got plenty of money. It's just they've chosen not to invest it in their athletic programs and facilities.
Pittsburgh's playing right now. Look at this.
Yeah, versus Buffalo.
So Gabe Davis playing football as we speak.
So
he's been doing great, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Just I'm sorry. I totally.
Well, I mean, we did talk about that conversation on who was going to be the difference maker this year, and y'all made fun of me for saying Gabe Davis.
I don't know if I made fun of you.
Oh.
Did I make fun of you?
You totally did.
Okay. I thought it was going to be Neville Clark, and look at him.
Yeah.
Where's he at? He's sitting at home on the couch eating Cheetos. I mean, What is he doing?
Cheetos.
It was just something that came to mind.
No, I got you. But no, I mean, good for Gabe Davis, hometown hero kind of guy. I mean, he's a Oviedo guy. He's been there. He left as a junior, which was kind of a bummer to see, but he's been doing really well and acquitting himself well. He's taken advantage of the opportunities he's had as a receiver.
You know, another receiver that they have that I really love is Cole Beasley.
Yeah.
Man, is he a player. He's awesome. For a little guy, he's always... where did he play college at? Do you remember?
Don't.
Anyway, I don't remember either, but I know it was someplace where I saw him.
Ooh. Tip drill.
Yeah, they've got some issues. Okay, go ahead back to what you were saying, because I totally messed
Well,
up.
that Vanderbilt was the other opening that was open, but Gus's job is probably the biggest one. I don't know how long Arizona's Kevin Sumlin stays in his role after that beatdown he received by Arizona State.
I thought he already got fired.
Did he?
I think so.
I didn't read that.
I'm almost positive.
He probably has.
Yeah, I'm almost positive.
I mean, if they didn't fire him today, I'd be surprised.
Yeah, no, I think they fired him the other day.
Okay.
Saturday or maybe Friday.
I didn't read that.
Yeah, I think they fired him already.
Either way.
Oh, yeah, Cole Beasley played at SMU.
There you go.
That's why I know him. Yeah. What a player, though.
So at the end of the day, those are three jobs that are open. Arizona, I don't think anybody really wants to go there. They're pretty cash strapped, and I don't see.
Yeah, they fired him yesterday.
There you
go. Someone, yeah.
So
aren't you glad? Did I already say this?
Yes.
I'm saying it again. Aren't you glad he didn't come here when everybody thought that he was coming here?
Yeah.
It could have been a lot worse, folks. Could have been a lot worse.
Yeah. So those three jobs are pretty high profile. Penn State's a job to watch. Michigan is also a job to watch. Don't know if they're going to do anything this year.
So which coach from the American fills one of these jobs?
Well, Michigan and Penn State are Luke Fickell. His name's been bandied about quite a bit for both of those jobs. I think
he would be one of the top coaches in college football that needs a better job.
Yeah.
And deserves a better job.
He turned down Michigan State, remember? So it'll be interesting to see what happens with Franklin at Penn State. And I think Harbaugh, it's time.
I think he signed an extension.
Harbaugh?
Yeah. I'm almost positive. I'll look it up. I'm looking all the rest of this stuff up.
When do we get our intern again? I know we used to have one.
Which Harbaugh is it?
John.
Okay, you can keep talking.
Yeah, so those are the big coaching changes that I'd be on the lookout for, and both of those jobs.
John is the one at
Jim Harbaugh.
All right,
there we go.
Jim, James, Jackie,
Jingleheimer Smith. But anyway, so Franklin, that job, both of those jobs are Luke Fickell's names have been bandied about for both of them. So those are the Penn State job especially will be interesting to see what happens with that.
Yeah, I think that he was offered a extension, actually. Here it is. 1 day ago, Bruce Feldman updates Jim Harbaugh contract extension situation with early signing day, blah, blah, blah. He has 1 year remaining, and they were working on a contract extension for...
Well, for recruiting, that would be terrible with a question mark in the air. The question is how much is that contract extension worth and for how long?
Well, I would think that that's probably why they're working on an extension now. So his recruiting. Let's see this one here. I'm sorry. This is a fluid situation. I'm looking it up as we speak. Blah, 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 blah. I know that they were talking about an extension. So that something should be happening soon with that.
Well, I think
I think he's been offered an extension and he just has to sign it.
It'll be interesting to see how long and for how much, because that'll tell you their level of commitment to him.
It says that they refused to elaborate on his extension. He may have signed it, though. I thought I saw that he did sign it, but whatever. You know how the news is these days?
the news.
You don't know what to believe and what not to believe. So there's a lot of, I don't know, man. It's weird. Very weird. So, whatever. What else do we have to talk about? Are we done yet?
We're getting close. I mean, if we want to talk about my 5-alarm hot take, although...
I thought that got kind of messed up.
It got doused. Let's put it that way. The firefighters came in with their fire engine, and so my take was the women's hoops team will make the tournament.
Still think that?
I think they'll make the tournament. Florida Gulf Coast was good last year. We lose, obviously, UConn out of our conference. Cincinnati played really well last year. UWCF. The Cows obviously have a pretty good team and a pretty good coach over there. So I do think they'll have an opportunity. They've been playing really well. They beat Virginia early. They beat LSU pretty big early. So they've played well. They've had a game canceled. And in this game, they played Florida Gulf Coast. And they got trounced. Right? Yeah, they got trounced
70-57.
Yeah, and it really was a head-scratcher to me because their defense has been on point. And obviously, that's been a hallmark for Coach Abramson. So, my take was they'd make it into the Sweet 16, but the way that they played today really had me worried.
You're adding syllables to people's names at this point. Did you realize that?
No.
It's not Abramson's son.
No, I said Abramson. Katie Abramson.
Isn't it Abrams?
No.
Okay. You could be right.
Okay. So either way, they will. My take was that they are going to make it in the Sweet 16. They have great defense, good turnovers. The big concern was, who's going to take over for KK. Diamond Battles has played well. Alicia Lewis has come in. She's a sophomore transfer guard from Syracuse and has played exceptionally well. And we've got some length. So we've been playing well on the glass and lots of turnovers. So they've played well the first two games.
I thought it was Abrams. It's Abramson. It's Abramson, though.
Okay.
Dang it. I was wrong. See? I am wrong every once in a while.
Every once in a while.
Mark this down.
We can mark it on the podcast.
Mark it. 12/13/2020.
But at the end of the day, they've still got a really, really good team. I think they'll make the tournament, although, to me, they were looking like a Sweet 16 team up until today. So, again, only the third game in. We'll see how they take this and run with it. I'm sure they'll have a conversation and move on, but still a great team, fun to watch. So make sure you go catch a women's hoops game.
Sure. No, I'm sure it's fun. I've seen a couple of them. It's been a while.
I take my daughter, so we have a lot of fun there.
That's cool.
They play really, and my son sometimes too, but they play really, really fast-paced basketball. It's a frantic pace, so you're never bored. There's not a lot of half court. They can make the three ball. They got a lot of three ball shooters. In the same time, they do a great job with turnovers, and that defense that she's been playing has been really great.
All right, so that's your hot take of the week.
Yeah, slightly doused.
All right, so if we're talking basketball, we cannot not mention the loss to Michigan. 80.
Do we want to call it a loss?
80.
The beatdown.
The beatdown in Ann Arbor. Was it Ann Arbor? Is that where they're at?
Yeah.
Okay, well, that was good. 80-58. It was bad. It was really bad. Brandon Mahan, though, did score 21 points. So that's a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, he's been playing really well. They just
we decided not to have Ben on this week because we really didn't want to talk about this game, and we'll have him on when we get back to playing basketball. As you know, the Houston game was supposed to be tomorrow, Tuesday, and it has been postponed. And I guess we have a date. I'm not sure what that date is, but I know it's been rescheduled. Saturday, January. Oh no, that was Saturday, January 17th. I don't know where I was getting 20.
Well, we play them that same month, I think, with the return game as well. So we play them twice in January, I believe. They moved it.
We do Saturday, December 26th, and then again on January 7th.
There you
17th. Go. Jeez, I cannot get this right. My brain is... So it looks like our next game will be Saturday, the 19th, against Florida State, hopefully.
Right.
Because who knows what's going to happen with this basketball season. It's already getting completely messed up. So we've now missed 2 games.
Well, and just to briefly mention the game, they played good in the first half, and Nicholson, they brought Nicholson in, and he just completely stopped up the middle of the lane, and we couldn't figure out how to fix that. And that really was the game changer.
It was horrible.
Us. So
horrible. It'll
be interesting to see. We've got 3 bigs out there.
Actually, I think it was me because I turned it on right as we started to suck.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, they were doing really good, and then I turned it on. I'm like, wow, we're ahead. And then all of a sudden, it was downhill from there.
Yeah, Ben and I were texting back and forth, and then Andrew woke up, and it was like, oh, no.
I was like, oh, man, I forgot that there was basketball on tonight. Or today, yeah. Okay. Well, that's that. We won't talk anymore about that. That's all we need to say. It was a beatdown, and I wasn't really totally expecting that. You haven't done this Nitro's deep thought stuff for a while, I don't think, right? Haven't we skipped over it the last couple of weeks?
Yeah.
We're only at an hour 35, so let's do it this time.
All right, so Nitro's Deep Thoughts, not about us per se, but tangentially. One of the things that we always talk about is, or that's always out there, is what are we going to do with Boise, and would they be a fit for our conference? Right now, our conference has one conference member out, so for us to have even divisions and technically be able to play a championship, remember we have a waiver this year, we would need to add a conference member. And one of the consistent names, just from a branding perspective, that you hear out there is Boise. We will be playing them next year as well to start a series. And the Idaho Press reports came out recently that Boise's current head coach, Brian Harsin, pushed the administration to look for realignment options in January. This was after the Mountain West had basically decided against playing a football season this year. And to their credit, they got some emails, and it looked like they were actually exploring with the WCC, West Coast Conference, and the Big West, presumably for their sports other than football. Harsin was pretty adamant, saying that it would be a long-time win or long-term look for us as Boise State to be able to put those other teams in those other conferences away from the Mountain West and focus on football. Remember, they were supposed to join the Big East, but then backed out when we lost some of our membership, and then they got that sweetheart deal from Mountain West, and that kind of blew up earlier this year as well when the Mountain West came out and their commissioner came out and said, hey, we're doing even revenue sharing, and there was this big fracas back and forth in public, and there were conversations about lawsuits and all this other stuff, with Boise basically saying, hey, our agreement was not contingent upon the conference's agreements with the TV partners. We still want a similar type of agreement. So there was a lot of back and forth, and it ended up getting squashed between the two. So there's a lot of animosity there. So the rumor is that they were in talks with the American at the time. Obviously, we need to replace UConn, who couldn't play in the American and had to move on. So, really, with all that being said, it sounds like there were teeth to this Boise to the American, at least rumor and conversations at the time. What do you think about Boise joining as a full member?
I think they're way too far out there to the west, personally. Way too far. That's a long way to go for any team. Even though we do have some associate members that
Wichita
are even farther than that in other sports besides in Olympic sports.
Oh, yeah, San Diego State.
Yes. So I don't even think people know that. I don't think people know who our associate members are. Do you know?
I know we have San Diego State. They participate in our Olympic sports. I believe rowing is where I knew about it because of that. I think we also have UF in something, women's soccer or something like that.
Women's lacrosse.
Women's lacrosse. There you go.
We have two SEC teams. University of Florida and Vanderbilt are in the American for women's lacrosse.
There you go.
Old Dominion is in for women's rowing and women's lacrosse as well. And California State Sacramento is in for women's rowing. And San Diego State they're dropping their rowing team, though, coming up the 2021 season. So, and they're in the Mountain West, but they will be gone because they're dropping their rowing team. So, yeah, interesting though, isn't it?
I got two.
Yeah, I don't think people know that really. The American has got a lot of sports that different ones that have many different players.
Well, the way I look at it for Boise, I mean, listen, if we're only playing them in football, that means we're only going to have to, most of the American teams are only going to, from the East Division, are only going to have to visit once every, I think it's 3 years or 4 years, something like that is how it works out to Boise. So from that perspective, I would think that the brand would be worth it. I think you also basically gut the Mountain West at that point because that's their biggest brand. So if we're talking about consolidating the New Year's Six spot, I think that's a positive. I'm not sure how much revenue they would bring, but if we could potentially bring in some other folks like BYU or something like that, then you start making the Power Six.
I have a deal for them, and
okay.
Hopefully they're listening.
Okay.
I will gladly accept them into the American if it was my choice.
Okay.
I would gladly accept them in the American if they get rid of that hideous blue field.
Well, you know that's not happening.
Well,
they started that whole
the
movement.
Only way.
It's the Smurf turf.
I know, it's horrible. Absolutely horrible. It's gotten out of hand. There's a lot of schools now. Have you seen the one that's gray?
Yeah.
It's like Wyoming or one of those, Montana or something.
I think it's Montana.
One of those schools out there. It's horrible. Horrible. And then there's a
greenish.
There's a green one.
Yeah.
Coastal Carolina, I think.
Coastal,
has a nasty green looking thing.
It's tealish color looking.
And then there's a red one. Maybe that's Wyoming or one of those.
Wyoming's like a brown, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. And then there's a red one. Is it Eastern Michigan maybe that has the? I don't know. Somebody has a red one. Somebody has a purple one. It's ridiculous. Just grass. It's supposed to look like grass. It's supposed to be green. Just leave it green.
Well,
this is ridiculous.
I mean, we did have a light gray basketball court for a while there.
Well, that's fine. That's supposed to look like pavement.
Yeah. I mean, I personally was a fan of it, but
this year, by the way, our basketball court is really boring.
Super boring.
There's nothing on it. I liked the roller coasters and stuff. That one was awesome. The blacktop one was awesome. This one's boring.
Yeah.
It just went way back.
All right. So Boise.
These things are important.
Boise, I think you've got Andrew's vote of confidence if you can get rid of the Smurf turf.
Absolutely.
I don't know. Repaint it some other color, maybe green.
I think that should be illegal in football.
Well, there was a big controversy around that when they first brought it out, but the NCAA ruled in their favor. So that being
look up on YouTube sometime when the Kansas player laid in the end zone in their blue outfit or our blue end zone. Uniforms exactly the same color, laid there, and then popped up on a kickoff return.
Right.
It's a good play. It was awesome. Nobody knew he was there.
So me personally, I'd love Boise in the American. I think it would be good for us. It undercuts the Mountain West.
It's just a really long way. They'd have to somehow. I mean, it's going to hurt them worse than it hurts any of the other members of them traveling.
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. I'm worried about UCF, and for us, if it's once every 4 years to get them in, you know what? I think you make that work.
And we would be the farthest from them.
That's true because our friends, the Cows, are in West Florida.
Mm-hmm.
So
not
they're
South
close.
Florida.
They're not in South Florida, so they're in West Florida. So they're actually closer than what we are.
Yes, we would be the farthest team from them.
All right. I think that's it for Nitro's Deep Thought. Anything else you want to chat about?
No, I'm glad it's over, to be honest with you.
Wow. See, guys, I drive him to want to end this thing early.
It's just a weird day. This is a weird show. We're just doing a weird thing. We just talked about a lot of stuff. We did talk about a lot of stuff on this show, though. How about we take another little quick break and we come back with our final thoughts?
Okay, sounds good.
How's that? Hey, Jeep Wrangler owners, have you ever sat in your office at work and watched the rain just pour into your Jeep because the weatherman said that there was a 0 chance of rain? Or you put your doors back on because there was a 100% chance and then not a drop of rain fell? Well, there's a company out there that can help take the worry away and give you the peace of mind to be without your doors. The company's called Life Without Doors. They make waterproof rain curtains and dash covers for Wranglers. Life Without Doors is there to help make the decision to leave the doors at home an easy one. Find out more at lifewithoutdoors.com.
Spice up your company with homemade marketing services from Tasty Gravy Creative. Tasty Gravy serves up a menu of budget-friendly marketing, graphic design, and public relations services customized to your specific goals. Co-owned by a UCF graduate, Tasty Gravy can help refresh your brand, strengthen your online presence, or reinforce your company's message. Contact Tasty Gravy for help with your website, social media, marketing, advertising materials, and more. Visit tastygravy.com.
All right, back with our final thoughts. Yeah, it is what it is.
All over the place tonight. All our final thoughts are all over the place.
Yeah. I've said it I don't know how many times. I'm not going to repeat myself again saying it was weird. But it has been weird. I guess I did.
Well, the way I look at it is this, right? So, obviously, 2020 is a year of change. There's been, a hallmark of UCF is now leaving us, so that leaves us feeling lots of different ways, right? Happy for him because he's going to be able to see the field again, hopefully, and then sad at the same time because KZ was UCF. So
no, I'm very happy with him. I've said that I'm more than happy for him to do that. I just, it's just weird.
Yeah.
So
no, absolutely, and
those things.
With recruiting, there's a lot of variability there with regard to people transferring and finishing games. We still don't know what our bowl game is, or who our bowl game opponent will be.
I wonder if it'll happen. Do you think it's even going to happen?
Yeah, I do. I think, and here's the reason why: it's an ESPN bowl, and they want the money, so they'll pair us with somebody.
Canceled other ones.
Yeah, but they've already.
Maybe they're going to say they can't find an opponent and it's canceled.
There's 33 bowls left right now, as of right now, and Virginia just, as we were recording, Virginia just opted out of their bowl, so that's another ACC opponent that was in the mix. So we're down to Virginia Tech or somebody else, and so it'll be interesting to see. There's a lot of noise around Fuentes up there and whether he stays on, so that may be a factor as well. But at the end of the day. Another, we're really getting down to the nitty gritty as far as having enough time to prepare, organize, etc. So
I'm ready for 2020 just to end.
I agree.
Like I'm gonna think that until probably the end of January. I'll still be ready for it to end.
The good news is
it was just a dumpster fire, the entire freaking thing.
I mean, we lost
year.
Players during the year. We've had opt-outs during the year. Our season went sideways from where the expectations were because of all of this.
I'm not even talking about football. I'm just talking about the entire year has sucked.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, it's just sucked. So I'm ready for it to be over.
So Andrew's final thought is 2020 sucked. Let's move on.
Exactly. What a dumpster fire of a year. Well, what was yours? Did you have a final thought?
Well, my final thought is just it's a year of change and transition.
Oh, you already said that, I guess.
Yeah.
All right. Well, forget it then.
In everything that we're doing. Basketball, football, everything.
All right. Well, this has been Knightline 245. I'm sure it was entertaining for some. We'll be back. Don't forget KZ on Knightline at night, Tuesday. I'm Andrew Phegley.
And I'm Roger Phipps. Go Knights!
Charge on.
To the field, with our spirits we'll never yield. Black and gold charge right through the line. Victory is our cry, B-S-E-T-O-R-Y tonight.